Welcome back to Always Learning. And what are we doing today? Well, today we're learning actually how to do a Euro mount. And these are a couple of bucks that me and my college roommate shot last weekend while we're out in western Kansas, and they're about the same. They both scored like in the 150 class. But we're going to make them into Euro mounts, and I'm going to show you how to do it today. I'm just going to show you the last part of the process of how you basically just whiten the skull to get it so it's ready to go, ready to put on the wall or put out for display. And I'm going to show you how you do it in that last phase. So the process is pretty simple. You're going to take, the first part of it is you're going to, once shoot the animal, you're going to come in and you're basically going to cut it from the mouth. You're going to skin it. You're going to take out the eyes. You're going to come back in here, take a wire, take a bone saw, and you're going to get most of the brains out of the brain cavity. So take all that off, take all the skin. You'll probably still have this kind of membrane looking collagen fat looking on the actual bone. And you're also going to want to take off, you'll want to cut these muscles back in here, and then you're going to want to pry off the jawbone. And once you get everything kind of removed pretty well, then what we do is we basically are going to put it in a pot. You're going to want to tape off the horns with saran wrap, what we used up here, and then down around the base, right around this lower part right in here. You're going to wrap electrical tape right around here, so that you can still get to the under edge here of the antler, but you don't get it on the actual brown part of the antler. We're going to want to keep those pristine as we found them. So you're going to set them in a pot just on a low simmer. We just used a shrimp broil pot. Like I said, set it on a real low simmering boil and just had it up to about here, so the tape it got up to the antlers, but it didn't necessarily get all the way up on the tape. We boiled them for 1 hour and 45 minutes. Then we took a electric power washer and gently power washed. The main thing you want to be careful on when you're spraying, you can hit everything else pretty aggressive, but these actual nose cavities, it's got this sinus cartilage in here. That's paper thin, and so if you hit it really hard, real close with any kind of power washer, you're going to blow out these cavities. Some people remove that cartilage. They like it that way. Kevin and I wanted to leave it in, so we left it that way. And that's really it. You're going to power wash it once. You're going to put it back in the pot and let it boil again for about 45 minutes. Then power wash it off. And there's going to be a little bit left. You may have to scrape a little bit with a brush or a blade. You just want to make sure whether you're removing the skin or whether you're moving, you don't take the blade and scratch the skull. And once you have it there, I'm going to show you how to take it from there. So these have been boiled for 1 hour and 45 minutes, power washed, and then they were boiled for another 45 minutes, and then power washed and scraped. So they're pretty clean. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set them in these lasagna pans, and a turkey pan probably would work better. I'm just doing it so when I carry it into the house, I don't get bleach everywhere. I went to the salon like I always do, and I got this Salon Care Volume 40. It's about 40% basically a cream with a bleach in it, and I'm going to mix this up. I got the cream, there's a liquid form, probably work as well, and I'm going to take one of these little, I guess you just call them these little foam brushes, or you can get a regular one, it doesn't really matter. And you're just going to make sure you get that paste on there. At the same time, you want to make sure none of it gets on the antler. You want to make sure you get that paste down into those nasal cavities. So just kind of put it on really thick, get it everywhere. We're going to let them set for 45 minutes. Then I'm going to take them and rinse them off with hot water. I'm going to let them go ahead and dry, and then come back the next day and put them on, put some more cream on for about another 30 minutes. And then I'm going to wash them in hot water again, and then I should be done. The teeth are pretty black, so if you want those white, you're going to have to make sure you really you really get in there. I may have to hit that a third time, but yeah, that's about it. If your teeth do get loose after the boil, you can glue them in and make them in there. But that's it, pretty simple, but a great way to make a memory. Maybe you're out hiking, maybe you're out walking and you find a bobcat skull, or you find an elk skull, or an animal that didn't make it through the winter, and it's really cool. It doesn't look that good. It looks kind of like maybe it's half rotten. You can still take it home, boil it, and return it to its original glory, and make a cool little thing to sit around house to remember how awesome nature is. So anyway, I'm going to make them bleach this. And they call this a Euro mount, but people also say they'll call it a deadhead mount. But whether you call it a Euro mount, or whether you call it bleaching the skull, or whether you call it whitening the skull, that's what we're going to do. And it's pretty simple, so I'll show you how to do it. First thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take saran wrap. I use the premium, but you can use whatever. And I got maybe a 12-inch sheet of it. And then you carefully wrap it tightly around the antlers, making sure that you're wrapping it right around that base that I showed you, any of the dark colored. There's kind of like an underneath kind of lip here. You want to keep that exposed, but you want this top part that's brown, you want it covered with saran wrap. And then you're going to come in with the tape and stretch that electrical tape, which is kind of semi-waterproof. Stretch it around there, going the same way as you wrap with the saran wrap to keep it tight. So I'll show you how to do that. I set about a 12-inch piece of saran wrap. This stuff just not tear off the best. And then I'm going to come in on that horn. I'm going to double it. I don't know if you have to do that or not, but and then you're just going to come in and you're going to get that right on that horn, that antler, and I'm going to stretch it around. And if I do get a little bit on that under part, no worries, because I can always come back and just hand bleach that and make sure I get it. I want to make sure I got it on both sides. Get it back here, and then I'm going to hold it with my one finger. If you got two people, always works better. Got 4 hands, always work better than 2 most of the time, unless you're doing major surgery. This maybe only 2 can get in there. And then I've got a pair of scissors, because you can tear electrical tape, but it stretches and comes off the antler. Probably should have done that beforehand. Like I'm going to get it on that antler. Make sure I've got it stretched, tight all the way around there. Now I'm going to basically do the same thing in the same direction with the electrical tape. Get it on that antler and stretch it so that it covers it. And when I brush it, I'm going to be real careful too, not to get it up around that antler. I'll check the back side. If I don't get it on this initial tape, then you can always come back. You know, like let's say I miss this little antler here, portion of it. You can always get another piece of electrical tape. Cut it and stretch it over the top of that little piece that you miss, and then tape it to the other tape. But if you're going to err when you're doing it, if anything, err on the side where you don't get it up here, and then come back with a smaller brush or another time. You can bleach it multiple times, so if you miss an area and you got to come back and do just another little area, that's fine too. And then I'm just going to tape it up here. You just want a little area where you can work with your hands, where I can grab this with a glove that's in the non-bleach side, that even if I forget and I grab it on that horn, the bleach won't get onto the antler. That's the main thing you're trying to do. So now just do the other side, stretch it out a little bit. You're going to fold it, and you're just going to come right on that edge and fold it. Get it on there. I'm gonna cut it this time. I'm ahead of myself. See, you're always learning. You always learn from one to the next even. So I got that guy cut, and I'm leaving a little bit of strip there. All right. So I'm gonna stretch this around, get it on that antler nice and tight. Doing a better job on Kevin's than I did on mine, which is how it should be. Do that same thing. I'm gonna stretch it over that antler so it kind of adheres, uses that roughness, that edge of the antler to kind of stay in place as it stretches. Kind of. Got that. And I'm gonna come around to this back side and make sure I got it on that antler and do that exact same thing. Like I said, when you're working with the bleach, the cream 40, you just want to make sure that it just doesn't drip down on that antler. So get in here and kind of pull this back. Like I said, you can, probably what I'll do is the third time, I'll be real careful. I'll just do right around that antler base. All right. Go in and check it, make sure it's tight to the antler base there. All right, I'm taking this Salon 40 volume cream. It was like $5.95, and you're literally just dabbing this stuff on. You don't have to paint it, you just want to get it on as a thick slurry. Get it in there in the nasal cavity. You're just getting just a whole bunch of it in there. Like I said, you're gonna wash this off, so don't worry about overdoing it. You just wanna make sure you're careful that it doesn't drip down onto your antlers. Like I said, we're just slobbering it on and then gonna let it set for 45 minutes. Kind of patting it on there, patting that paste on there. And I've heard where some people will get a couple different, they'll get this, they'll get something else that's a little pastier and put on there, but I don't know, I don't think you do. I think this is gonna work fine. There they are, all finished, bleached out, ready to go on the wall. Thanks for watching.